My guest today, Annemarie, told me that after a session with one of her clients, she got a call and her client told her that she had been crying for 3 days straight. But Annemarie wasn't surprised. Based on what the client's feet told her, she had been holding a lot of grief in her lungs. I've been a massage therapist and a healer for many years, and I thought I knew all of the different bodywork modalities, but I had never heard of foot zoning until recently, and I'm guessing that you haven't either. But I think after this conversation, you'll be just as intrigued as I am. As I mentioned to you before we got on, I've been a massage therapist and energy healer for many years. I'm not really practicing now, but I've never heard of foot zoning before. Please tell me and the audience, what is foot zoning?
It's funny because I was introduced probably 10, 12 years ago. And you're right, a lot of people haven't heard of it, even though it's not something that's new or that was created. It's an ancient tradition. You can go back and look at the Egyptians and you can see that they were practicing this. And so it is something that dates back years, generations. And it's a way to reset your body. So I will put my hands on your feet. It's a very specific routine that I do through accessing the signal systems on your feet. I will have access to every organ, every muscle, every bone, every ligament, every system in your body. What I'm doing is I'm restoring, I'm resetting, detoxing. I'm getting your body. I always think of it as back to zero, kind of a reset.
Like a homeostasis condition?
Exactly. And your body wants to be in homeostasis. It needs to be given the right stuff and not given it doesn't need. But I'm also detoxing. I'm assisting your liver, your kidney, whatever it is, flush out what is no longer needed and what shouldn't be there to get your systems working in harmony and working together. Part of the certification that I have is not only doing that to you, but it's getting to the root cause. For instance, I'm working on you and I'm saying, oh, geez, I feel inflammation here, or I feel some stagnation, or this doesn't seem to be working. But all of those things have something in common, right? It's the liver, the kidneys, the adrenals, your back. They're all working together. Our whole body is a system and works in harmony. When one, two, three, four, five things are out of balance, out of whack, not working properly, there's an underlying reason. It's not just random. And so through the process that I do, I am helping you to determine what the root cause is. And then I can also offer suggestions as to what works really well for this would be to drink this tea. What I found with myself and with other clients that if they increase their magnesium, then you're going to see great results in this area.
Very
I
cool.
think that's really it in a nutshell.
Yeah. So I'm very curious, how is this different than foot reflexology?
It goes far deeper. It's like reflexology times 1,000 on steroids
Oh
to the
my
10th
goodness.
power type of thing.
And why is that? Why is it such a
The
multiplier?
organization that I'm doing it in, the routine that I'm doing, and I'm getting much deeper in accessing your liver or your brain or your ear.
Hmm.
I'm going deeper than a reflexology would.
So not so much deeper as far as pressure, but deeper in a different way?
Correct. And that's what's so funny is if you say you've met 10 foot zoners and you've had a foot zone from all of them, we could have all had the same training, and more pressure does not necessarily mean better. And the amount of pressure that I offer to my clients that I put into the zone that I'm doing is not necessarily going to be the same as someone else. More pressure does not mean deeper.
So I'm guessing you're using intuitive skills also. Is that accurate?
There may be some intuition to it, but you'd be amazed just by looking at the direction of someone's toes, for instance.
Oh, so you're reading
The
the foot.
color on the bottom of their feet. So when I ask for that picture where I'm
Yes.
going to do the analysis for you, I look at lines, undulations. I look for coloring. There's a whole list of things that I'm looking for. And what you'll say to me, oh no, my feet are just dry. No, I've always had that nodule underneath my big toe or whatever it is.
Mhm.
And I'll say, okay, and I appreciate that, but there's something to that.
Interesting. And are you looking at both the bottoms of the feet as well as the top?
For the analysis photos, I just look at the bottom because that gives us sufficient information. But when I'm working on your feet, I'm working on the whole thing. I start with one side, go to the top, go to the other side, go underneath the toes, a little bit up your leg. So yes, we're hitting every.
And when you say you're getting information about the person's body, are you feeling nodules or something different in the texture of the foot that's giving you that information? It sounds like it's beyond just a visual examination. Is that true?
So it's all of those things. When I do have my hands on your feet, I could be doing a roll and it could feel crunchy or it would be sunken in, concave. You
Mm.
could have an outpouching of something and that gives me information. If I'm dragging my knuckle, because it's all in the knuckles, if I'm dragging my knuckle across the side of your foot and I just can't get through it, it feels really like wallpaper paste under there, that's giving me information. And again, it's really easy for you to say, no, I rub my feet. It always feels like that. And I appreciate that, except I'm
Right.
going to have you now touch someone else's foot and it's not going to feel like that. And there's a reason for that.
Wow. So, what are some of the classic conditions that you're finding on people's feet that you're working with these days?
Most people have stuck limp, which is just stagnation. It's the lack of good food that they're consuming. It's the lack of exercise. It's the sedentary lifestyle. We sit down too much. It could be a whole host of things, but the lymph isn't moving. The lymph is stagnated, which is causing inflammation and dehydration. 90% of people are dehydrated. It's not enough. Yeah, exactly. And it's not even just not enough water. It's all these other things that you're taking and they're dehydrating your body. People wake up in the morning. What do? They hit their coffee maker and they drink their coffee.
Right,
You're
without even
waking up
drinking water.
dehydrated
Yeah.
and you're adding acid and more dehydration. Your body has worked so hard to detox all night and it's waking up in the morning begging for some really nice, fresh, delicious water and you're getting it behind again.
Question.
Yeah,
If you drink a glass of water first and then 20 minutes or something later have coffee, is that still not a good idea?
that's better.
Okay,
But
better, but not ideal.
coffee.
Okay, so dehydration, stagnation from lymph that hasn't moved throughout the body. Do you ever treat people with something like gout, for example?
So somebody could come to me and say that they've been diagnosed with gout. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a
Right.
physician, so I would never diagnose someone.
Sure.
And I could say to them, okay, these are the things that I see in people that have gout. This is the organ that it's affecting, or this is what I see is the effect on the body. And these are the things that have had good luck and good results with those
Mm,
complaints. So as
interesting.
opposed to looking at the label or the diagnosis that they receive, I look and say, okay, gout affects this organ. And when this organ is burdened, overworked, just not working properly, these are the things that will jumpstart it and get it
Yeah.
going.
What are some other conditions that you had some success with helping people move through?
It can be a whole variety of things. I think people are probably surprised at least not in Europe anyways, but the idea of having parasites in your body. Parasites are rampant and they are chameleons. It's a living organism in your body that is taking, it's very good at taking on the behavior of an organ. It's very good at taking the minerals that you are giving your body, and it's a living organism. So it's peeing and pooping and it's
Okay.
putting more waste into your body. It's very common in Europe to do parasite cleanses. It's not as common in this country.
Mm.
And you'd be surprised at the results that you got from parasite cleanse and the number of people that I find parasites in.
And is there something specific that you notice about a foot that indicates that somebody has
You can see the
parasites
parasite nest.
on the foot?
You can see the nest.
Uh,
I know it's gross. I get it.
Okay, so once you've identified the parasites, what are you able to do to help them? Is it something with the foot zoning and suggestions about ways to
Of
detox?
course,
Or
the act of foot zoning, having my hands on your feet, begins the detox process.
okay, you can even detox parasites with foot zoning.
My very first foot zone, she even said to me, you may feel fluish over the next few days because your body is now working really hard to release toxins. I've had that response with people because we're also emotional bodies. So remember, we're
Yes.
not just detoxing food like substances, we can also be detoxing emotions. I had a woman call me and say that she'd been crying for 3 days. And she said, next time, can you hit that happy toe, please? Because you hit the
Crying
sad
after
house.
you did the session.
Everyone is different how they're going to react to it. And I warned her, I said, I'm in your lungs and I can feel there's a lot of inflammation in your lungs, and some of that inflammation could be due to grief. And sure enough, she cried for multiple days.
Wow. But she moved through it, I'm guessing.
She did move through it. There's always some suggestions that you can do to unburden the lungs and work through the grief and come back for more foot zones. Every time you foot zone, you're going to go a little bit deeper because think about if you're stripping paint off a wall and if it's an old house, you can have 10 layers of paint there.
Yeah.
One layer, two layer, and then the more layers you're starting to peel back, the deeper you're going into the wall. So it's the same thing with your body.
Okay. And so then what would a typical foot zone protocol be? Are there a certain number of sessions that are recommended, or is it dependent upon
Some
the
of
person?
it is personal preference.
Yeah.
Sometimes I work on someone's foot and maybe I've identified something or suggested something and they're like, I'm not ready for any more. I did one.
Oh,
Okay, thank you. I'll drink some more water and that's really all I want to do right now. And
oh,
then
wow.
I'll have someone who says, okay, I want to do this once a week. I want to do a detox with you. I'm going to do a cleanse. Send me all the information. I'm going to jump right into the deep end, you know?
One thing I wanted to ask you about, because I've talked with some other holistic doctors and people that are working with detoxes and parasite cleanses. And what I've understood is that there are certain ways that you need to do it so that you don't just release everything into the system and then the person gets sick. How do you
Well,
address that?
I agree. Really
Binders is
do.
something they talk about.
Depending on how inflamed the body is, on how compromised the body is, they may need to do baby steps. I could identify and say, I think you're low in minerals and you have parasite nests and you have heavy metals and all these things. I wouldn't recommend doing a heavy metal detox, a parasite cleanse, and bumping up all of your vitamins and nutrients and minerals all at the same time because your body is just not ready for that. Other
Yeah.
people, they can start 2 green shakes a day, heavy metal smoothie, cut out everything else, and they're great. Some people you definitely have to go slower with.
And so those smoothies and shakes, do those contain any kind of binders that actually can help remove those?
For a parasite cleanse, there's definitely a binder in that protocol. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So what's the training to become a foot zone therapist?
The woman that I trained with is the person that I first had a foot zone with. She is in Hawaii. She's been foot zoning for over 20 years.
Oh my God.
Her story is very interesting in that probably about 20 years ago, she was pregnant and Western medical doctors told her that her baby had brain tumors and that the baby was not going to do well. She went through all kinds of Western medicine and was visiting family, I think in Utah. Someone said, hey, there's a crazy lady down the road who does something with feet. Maybe you want to go see her. Now I'm the crazy lady down the street. And so she went to go see her, and the woman, through foot zoning and through her other training, was able to make some suggestions, recommendations. Child is heading off to college. He's perfectly fine. No
So
brain
he wasn't born
tumors.
with any brain tumors.
Nothing. That
Wow.
started her journey. She has studied with medicine men, with medical medium Anthony Williams. She's a certified herbalist. And so she created integrated foot zoning. There are other schools. Her school is focused on getting to the root cause. And so it's a year's worth of training, lectures, tests, quizzes, that type of thing. There's a practical. So that's my certification. And you have to give
That's so cool.
100 free foot zones
Oh,
to
I wish I'd known
graduate.
you. I wish I had known you then. Andrea and I are talking with you about coming to one of our retreats this summer and doing foot zoning sessions for participants, right?
Yes,
Awesome.
exactly. 100 free foot zones cannot be all on the same person. Think about a baby's foot. Think about a big, tall basketball player who has size 14 feet. The mat is slightly different.
Yeah.
And what you're doing, it shifts a little bit.
Yeah. What led you to this foot zone therapy?
So I've always been really fascinated in the body helping itself and what the body can do. I homeschooled my son for junior high and my daughter for high school. And it was really just the beginning of my journey, I'd say, because I was just learning about something as basic as, say, arnica, right? I was like,
Wow.
oh, arnica, I didn't know it, right? So it started and it just morphed from there. And then I started working with an intuitive chiropractor who was doing a retreat one weekend here in Connecticut. And it was with Amber Bodley, the woman that I learned foot zoning from. She was there and a couple of other practitioners. On the Friday when we all meet, Amber, who has done hand zoning, face zoning, back zoning, foot zoning, to just get you in, she looks at my face and identifies all these things that I have going on in my body.
Just looking at your face.
Just looking at your face, because on your face, your pancreas is one location, your liver, your kidneys, all of that. It all tells a story. And so she gave me some information and I was thinking to myself, okay, I'll book a foot zone with this woman. Had a foot zone. Now, she's been doing it more than 10 years at this point, and she has all these certifications. So I am in the chair. She's working on my feet. And at the end of the session, I probably had 3 notebook pages full of notes where she was saying, okay, you have debris on your brain, this oil. Okay, your ovaries feel like they could use this. So add in some red raspberry leaf tea. She was just firing off all of this information. And it was, for some people, maybe overwhelming. For me, I was like, make my list. I will follow these instructions. I'm ready to go.
Did you feel any symptoms happening at this point that corresponded to what she was saying?
You know, what's funny is I think it's really easy for us to chalk things up, right? You could talk to a friend and be like, my back. And they're like, oh, you're 50, that happens. Or, oh, that's normal, right? Because it's happening to them. And many people complain about it, we figure it's normal. Or you get used to not feeling fantastic and you just figure that's how you are. And I think that's true for a lot of people. And so that started my true respect and admiration for this woman. Started getting her newsletter, started following her on social media, and she would offer information like, are you stuffy? Do you feel like you are getting an upper respiratory? Here's a tea. Go up in your cupboard, get out some ginger, get out some garlic, make this, and this is going to make you feel better. And so I was just so excited that we can take care of ourselves, right?
Yes, the
My husband can
empowerment.
come to me not feeling well. My children, my mother, my neighbor can say, oh, I banged my toe, or, oh gosh, my stomach hurts. And I can say, let me make this tea for you. Let me give you a castor oil pack. And so I knew that I wanted to know everything she knew.
Yeah.
So I started approaching her saying, when are you going to teach a class? Please, I want to learn this. She was in California at the time. And then she moved to Hawaii, and then she figured out how to teach this class long distance. She has a couple other classes online. So I took the other, I call them intro classes, and then finally got off the wait list, took foot zoning, and I've been certified for almost a year now. And it's amazing.
That's wild. Wow, this sounds incredible. Do you find that you have a sort of ideal client type of person that you love to work with? I'm sure you love to help anybody, but
Funny, I haven't thought of that, but I will listen to people and they'll tell me about a brother's ailments and neighbors' health struggles. And I'm thinking, "Oh, let me get on their feet. Please, can I see a picture of your feet?" And there are people that are just locked in. They're like, no, I've been to medical doctors and this is what they've told me. And I'm going to deal with this the rest of my life, or I'm going to be on this medication the rest of my life. And they're satisfied with that. You have to meet people where they are and say, okay, that's great. But if I could look at your feet, I think I might be able to help you.
yeah. What I'm hearing underneath the surface there is the person certainly has to be willing to want to see things from a different perspective and take some action that may be not mainstream, shall we say.
Maybe all they want to do is just let me rub their feet for an hour and a half. And they can take a nap, they can read a book, they can meditate. and say thank you and call it a day.
Yep. And they feel
And,
better, but they don't necessarily know why or what's going on in their bodies.
or maybe they'll say, all I'm going to do is try and drink more water. And that's really
Yeah.
all I can do right now. And okay,
Yep.
again, we choose how we want to feel.
Yeah. That's so true. How has this changed your life in the last year or longer? Maybe 2 years since you had training for a year and now you've been practicing for a year, did you say?
Right. I think since I met Amber more than 10 years ago, I think is probably when it started. And again, it's like I had referenced, I learned what arnica was and I thought, oh
Right.
my gosh, this is genius. And I will say that my parents, who really thought a lot of the stuff I do is hokey, after a knee replacement, I gave them a tube of arnica and I said, just put this on your knee. They love it. They buy it.
No
They,
kidding.
they buy the tubes by the dozen and they love it. And I think that is great. But now I look at where I am now from learning about something as basic as, say, colloidal silver or arnica. And
Mhm.
now the things that I either do for myself or I suggest to others or I have available in my medicine cabinet. It's amazing to see how the body can work. See that we're not supposed to age and be slower and more inflamed and feel worse as we get older. There's no reason
Mhm.
for that.
Yeah.
We can change it.
What would you say, based on your experience, has moved the needle for people that you've been working with the most? Obviously, the foot zoning, but is there a particular tea or
It's
what?
funny. I think that it really depends where you are.
Yeah.
The one thing, and this is what I tell all women, is red raspberry leaf tea.
No
If it's
matter
one
what
thing that
stage
you'll
you're at.
do, I don't
Mhm.
care if you are prepubescent. I don't care if you want to have a baby, if you're pregnant, if you just had a baby, if you don't want babies, if you're menopausal, if you're
Right.
90 years old. For
Yeah.
women's reproductive health, red raspberry leaf tea is the thing to have.
Wow. Now, is that true for pregnant women too?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It strengthens the reproductive organs. It
Mm.
is an immune booster. Red raspberry leaf tea is not just for reproductive health. It's not just a woman's tea,
Yeah.
immune booster, and so many other things. But I brew it by the ball jar, have it in
Uh-huh.
my refrigerator, and drink it all the time.
That's
It
amazing. So are
is,
you buying the herbs or growing them yourself?
oh, I wish I was. No, I'm not
Okay.
growing that. And that's the thing too, is you want to make sure that you're sourcing something that's not sprayed with glyphosate, right?
Ideally
Making things
certified
worse.
organic.
And there are companies that are free from glyphosate, they're organic, they're regenerative
Yes.
farming, so you know where to
Yes.
get them. And if there's not enough flavor in it, add some honey, put a cinnamon stick,
Oh, yeah.
just drink it.
Which brand have you found to be the best?
There's a company that I order my Lucy tea from, and that's Mountain Rose Herbs.
Oh, yeah, Mountain Rose. I think I've ordered from them in the past, and they're certainly a well-known, respected company. Do you have any regular practices that you're doing every day that keep you healthy? And also, do you have anyone to work on your feet?
I can foot zone myself, but
Oh,
like
yeah.
anything, we're usually the person that we forget about, right? We
Sure.
take care of everyone else and we forget about ourselves. There are so many things that I do. Right now, I'm drinking Aloe Digest,
Oh,
which is by Purium, which is
okay.
an amazing company. No plastic, regenerative farming,
Oh,
organic,
nice.
made in the USA. It hits all the buttons, right?
Yeah.
Aloe Digest is, first of all, it tastes really good. For years, I've been drinking aloe vera juice and it's glumpy and it's not really
Yes.
very flavorful, but
Yeah.
it's really good because it cools the body, it hydrates,
Right.
it's nutrients and what have you. This Aloe Digest is just delicious. It tastes
Wow.
like a
So
sweet.
what is in there besides the aloe?
I'd
No.
have to read the package, but as far as I
Mhm.
know, it's just dehydrated aloe.
Wow.
Add water.
Yeah. And so you're drinking that sort of as a maintenance type of thing, or because you're working with
Well,
some
now
people there?
my liver's a little inflamed and I'm just trying to cool it down. And if you think about what aloe vera does
Yeah.
for a sunburn, does the
Right.
same thing for your liver.
Nice.
And that's what I'm doing right now. I was pretty inflamed. I had a lot of gut issues and heal the gut, heal everything.
Yeah.
And so that's just one of the things that I'm doing right now.
For somebody that has a lot of inflammation, are you saying that's the key?
I think it's very person specific. If you're having trouble digesting food, I think the aloe is a good thing, but I
Mm,
also would hesitate to say something like that across the board until I
right.
looked at your feet. Adding more fresh fruits, vegetables, greens in is a great idea. But again, how is your body doing right now? How's the
Right.
digestion? Maybe you
Right.
need to dial it down. Maybe you're taking in too many things and you're
Oh,
stressing out your body and you need to dial it.
yeah.
Sometimes maybe it's easy to get overwhelmed and you start scrolling through Instagram or Facebook, or you're watching infomercials, or you're watching a documentary, or you're listening to your neighbor, you're at a coffee shop and everyone's telling you, oh, do this. No, I heard do this.
Mm,
You should be doing this. I
yeah.
think you stop and wonder, who should I listen to?
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. I'm overwhelmed. Take a step back, listen to your own intuition and say,
Yeah.
geez, does that sound right? Does that seem to make sense? I'm not so sure it does.
Yeah.
And then look for people that are certified, reputable, that have some backing, that have been doing things for a while. And even once you start getting information, I again would say to you, tune into your own intuition.
That is the best advice because I talk to women that are overwhelmed all the time. They don't know what to believe, who to trust. I've been at this for over 30 years, so I feel like I've gone down a lot of different rabbit holes so that other people don't
Yes.
have to, but there's changing information all the time. It's you have to take in new information, but like you said, trust your own intuition to say, does this make sense for me? Is this something that I should pursue? People listening to this podcast might think, ooh, foot zoning, that sounds like something I should check out. So I think that we're all such individuals. And I think you've been reiterating that throughout our conversation that there's no one size fits all, right? Everybody's a different person, different physiology, different emotional experiences. And yeah, so we need to customize things for us uniquely.
The inflammation in your lungs may be from grief. The
Yeah.
inflammation in my lungs may be because I used to work in a place that had a lot of fragrances. And listen to when you start taking something, when you shift something, when you decide to change a workout or a meal plan or something like that, do it slowly and check in with yourself. Oh, lift weights, don't lift weights. Do hot yoga, don't do anything hot. Run, don't run, it's bad for this. Try one thing and assess. Wait a minute, does that? Oh no, my hips feel okay, or my knees, or my back, or my brain feels clear. Okay, that's great. Oh, they say to drink water. Okay, that makes sense. I can drink water.
One of the things I want people to understand when they think about drinking water, I want to be very clear that it's not bottled in plastic, that
Right.
ideally isn't from a tap water system that has all kinds of toxic chemicals
Fluorides.
in it. Yeah, fluoride, what's the big disinfectant? Chlorine or
Right.
chloramine. Yeah, so there's different qualities of water. I think that anybody that is on a municipal system, for example, would be wise to get a good filtration system, ideally that has a carbon element to it. The quality of water makes a difference because we don't want to just be sucking down all kinds of extra stuff in the water. And
Right.
another thing, my husband and I are organic farmers here in Vermont, and he works himself to the bone. And so just plain water isn't always enough in the summertime because he's losing so many electrolytes. So sometimes a pinch of sea salt or Himalayan salt, or I've actually made this old farmer's drink called switchel, which has
Okay.
ginger, a little bit of maple syrup, which we also produce, and apple cider vinegar and water.
Okay.
And so that seems to help on the really hot, sweaty days.
You know what? Just squeezing a lemon into your water, lemon is a
Yeah.
natural electrolyte.
Yes.
Squeeze some
Yes.
lime into your water, and
Yeah.
it's going to help permeate the cells. It's going to hydrate you, and you're going to feel better. Adding a little bit of sugar, a little salt, those sorts of things. Absolutely. But again, you're traveling, you can probably go somewhere and find some lemon, right?
Yes.
And squeeze
Right.
some lemon into your water.
Exactly. Yeah. A lot of restaurants, you can ask for lemon or lime in your water as well. Okay. So how do people reach you?
I am on Instagram. It's
Okay.
LOL_AML. You have my cell number, you
I'll
have a
put this in the
website or
show
anything.
notes.
Send me a message on Instagram. Send me a text on my cell, 860-227-4809. And you can come to Connecticut. I can meet you halfway. You can send me a picture of your feet. We can chat over
Wow.
the phone, whatever. Anything that
Yeah.
I can do to get people feeling better. When we feel better, our brains work better. We're happier, happy
Yes.
gut, happy brain, right?